Okay, all right. Welcome back. So my name is Phil, aka C to the YRIL, and you're welcome to the Cloud Journey HQ. All right. So today I'm going to talk about one very important topic when it comes to cloud computing. But then if you're just joining this YouTube channel, I'd like you to smash the subscribe button. You can also give a thumbs up and you can also share this video because this is one very important topic in cloud computing. And today's topic is actually virtual machine skill sets. So what exactly do you think is virtual machine skill sets? So let's dive right into this. So when it comes to cloud computing, the virtual machine, what the definition of cloud computing is all about on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with a pricing model. So what are the pricing model? When we talk about pricing models, we're talking about the compute resource, we're talking about the networking, we're talking about the database, and we're talking about storage. So these are the major resources that you can actually get off from the internet. All right, so now the next thing we are going to talk about is the virtual machine skill set, VMSS. So the VMSS is actually one very, very important resource that we have not just only in Azure, Microsoft Azure, but we also have that in GCP and we also have that in AWS. So that's why they call it the Elastic Cloud Compute. But in the Microsoft Azure, we call it the virtual machine skill set. All right, so in the virtual machine skill set, how these operate is that, have you ever wondered on a Black Friday, you see so many people trying to buy your product online, and by so doing, you notice that despite the fact a lot of people are trying to buy those things on the Black Friday, your website still didn't crash. What is the magic behind this? So thanks to virtual machine skill set. Now initially, you see some issues where people want to write exams. For example, they're trying to access a particular portal for a particular day and that website crash due to the traffic trying to come in. But in this case, with virtual machine skill set, you could actually do what they call scaling in and scaling out. Now, when we come to scaling in and scaling out, you could actually increase your compute power when it comes to compute resource, when it comes to memory, and you can have all your traffic still managed at that same time. So virtual machine skill set is one of the greatest things in sliced bread when it comes to deployment in the cloud. So a lot of websites today use this technology. Now, you have just one website that is running your server, maybe your website, for example. So when it gets to, let's say, 75%, and it notices that so many people are trying to access this particular web page, it increases based on instance. So the instance could be compute power, could be memory, and it could actually scale up or scale down. So with this technology, you don't even need to pay for higher compute resource or higher memory resource, but you only get to pay for them on demand. That is when you actually need them the most. And the moment you actually have less traffic coming to your website, automatically the instance deletes all by itself. So this allows you not to pay for what you don't use. So that's why the cloud computing, as I said earlier, is a pay-as-you-go model, which is a pay-as-you-go pricing model. So this is just a simple briefing on how virtual machine skill set work. I'm going to show us a walkthrough later on in the lab session how we could deploy a virtual machine skill set and how this resource can increase its instance during high peak period of a percentage of say 70% or 80%, and also can delete its instance when the percentage is lower. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll show you in the next video how you can deploy a virtual machine skill set and also how you can see this in practical, how this instance increases all by themselves.
Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I have actually been delaying this particular session, which is about VMSS. So the last time we talked about how to create a website and how to deploy this website on the Linux VM, the Windows VM, right? So today we are going to talk about how to deploy a particular website, or should I say an e-commerce website, on a virtual machine skill set. So the VMSS is more like having several machines at a go with identical configurations, and these machines can actually scale in and scale out. So should you have a high peak period where your customers wants to buy so many things, or let's say for example during Black Friday, you get to have so many demands, right, coming in, you can deploy your web server or your application in a VMSS application, and this allows your application to be able to scale out during high peak period and also scaling during low peak period. So let's dive right into this. So first I need to create a virtual machine skill set. I just come to this global search and type virtual machine, or should I, let me just call it VMSS. It's going to show me VMSS. See this? Click on this virtual machine skill set. I don't have anyone at the moment, so since I don't have any virtual machine skill set, I just need to come to this create to create one virtual machine skill set. I'm going to create a Windows machine at this point because I just need to show us how this scaling really works. So I can decide to create a new virtual machine, call it VMSS just for testing purpose, RG. Then you click on check. All right. Then I can call this Black Friday, or should I call it web server instance. All right, so this web server instance, because it's going to be scaling in and scaling out, I want to put it in North Europe because that's where it's closer to me. Availability zone. So for virtual machine skill set, it's always very necessary you put availability zone, right? So you could actually have zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. Right, why you're doing this is because you want your server to have high availability. So should you have one data center being faulty, you still have your website running at the same time. So that's why it's very, very essential to have your high availability zone intact. And here we have flexible orchestration. Here, flexible orchestration achieve high availability at scale with identical or multiple virtual machine types. However, we have the uniform optimized for large-scale stateless workloads. So the default is already on flexible, and I'm going to leave it on that. And for the security type, I can choose standard, just in case I want to carry out the necessary virtualization anyway. But then scaling, I'm going to use manual because manual allows me to also scale myself. Autoscaling can scale based on CPU metrics or any other schedule, right? But manual, you could actually still maintain a fixed amount of instance and also scale it based on your own metric. So from here, you notice that it's actually going to be starting with 2 instances. So I need to change the image here. I'm not using Ubuntu in this particular session. I prefer to use let me see if I could just come down here and choose, okay, let me choose Windows Server 2019 for this particular demo. Then for the size, I can choose to use this Windows Server 2019. Okay, B2MS is a bustable VM and it's quite affordable. So because of this session, I will just make do with that. Then now the user, I just can use Azure user password. So I'm going to type in my password. So type in. Alright, so I just typed in the password. So I could also search, click on the license, confirm the license for this particular one. Then I can go to the next thing. Alright, so this is just going to tell us for spot VMs, if you want to have it as spot VM or you want to have it as on-demand VM. So I think you could actually just leave this on. I'm not going to turn on the spot VM because spot VM sometimes it could actually delete immediately if that particular instance is not reserved. So for in this scope, I'll just leave that one. And let me just go to the next stage where we'll go to the disks per se. I may choose just standard HDD. All right, so standard HDD for this one. Then for my network, so for the networking side, we may need to create a load balancer that is going to have those two instances, because by default virtual machine instances need to be in a backend pool. So there are two instances, right? So let's create a load balancer for this particular VMSS. So the load balancer is going to give us a public IP address that we need to use as our main IP. So I'll just call this okay, the name already exists. Then front-end ports, backend ports. Okay, so I just created a load balancer, so I can just click on review and create just to save our time. So it's gonna take a while for it to just carry out the validation check. Then once it's done with that, then the next thing is to carry out the deployment process. Then we have a virtual machine with two instances and a public IP which is going to be associated with the two instances. Then we have all the deployments working. So yeah, let's just wait for it to finish up the whole process. Okay, I think it's done deploying. So let's go to resource. All right, so this is done deploying. So we have our virtual machine skill set with the public IP. Yeah, so this is giving us the public IP here for this instance. So if you click on this, where the root instance, you should see the two virtual machine running Windows Server 2019, the same size, and both of them are running. So these are the two instances here. Okay, so the public IP that I have copied, if I choose to, let's say HTTP without S, so let me just say S, then I just put the IP in front, which is just non-secured for now because it's AT. It should give us an error message telling you that this particular website can't be reached. Yeah, because we have not installed the IIS, which is Internet Information Services. It allows us to make this particular virtual machine a web server. So for now, we may not have it running as a web server. So we can actually then choose to connect to the machine. For us to connect to the machine to install, we can install the IIS by connecting probably via Bastion or any other method that suits us. So let's see which of the instances can we connect. Okay, let me give example this. Okay, let me connect from. Let me try connecting with public IP. Okay, this is the front end IP, so we may have challenge connecting with this. So let's try connecting one of these instances. They are identical instance and they update by themselves. So if I come to connect, let me see via Bastion. So Bastion allows us to connect our virtual machine from the browser itself, right? So you just to type your username, right? Then your password. Okay. So let me just try to test with this. So it's going to create a Bastion actually for us to connect. So with Bastion we can connect in the browser. So you don't need to connect via the remote desktop clients. So once you just click on connect, it kind of shows you the browser environment where you connect your, where you see your interface. So yeah, it says a pop-up blocker is preventing a new Windows. Please allow pop-up entry. Okay, I think there's okay, so there's a pop-up blocker that is affecting what I'm trying to do. So let me see. I've already clicked on to allow, so I don't think you should give me the challenge. So it's opening the bastion, so select allow. So yeah, so what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to assess the virtual machine um, skill set on the bastion environment. Now, all right, so it's coming up now. Yes, so if you look at this now, we already have our cloud virtual machine server on live as it's currently working as one of the instances showing here. So we can then go to the server manager to install IIS. Then let's see. So yeah, it has currently seen the internet. Okay, so the server manager is currently opening on the bastion environment. You can see it's loading up right now. Let's give it some time. Yeah, so with this you can then install your IIS, and once it's done installing IIS, we are actually working on this particular instance. So then it's going to still, once you install here, it's going to then update on other instances at the end of the day. So let's just click on add rows just to confirm. For just this particular tutorial, we just need to add IIS. So it's taking some time to finish the collection of data. I think it's okay. So let me just go to next. I just want to install the IIS, which is the web server. Okay, then add features. You're going to take some time for it to add features. Right, so let's hold on, see. Then install. So it's currently installing this IIS in this server. So since so it's actually done. Okay, so since that is done, the IIS is installed. So I think we should be able to see it in the Internet Information Manager just to confirm that truly it's done. So this is the IIS environment. You should be able to show us a simple web page of IIS environment. So let's just click on this just to confirm. So I'm just going to view this on a browser. So let me just say explore. So you can open internet browser for me. So this is the environment where it is. Alright, so what if I want to browse it? Like I want to visit the web page. So browse HTTP. Okay, so yeah, so we already have the web server running from what is showing here. Yeah, so from what is showing here, it shows that our localhost we've converted the Windows server into a web server, right? So let's check if this website, if this front end IP should be able to fetch one of those instances. Okay, fine. So this front end IP could fetch that particular one because we are using the front end IP as a load balancer for those two VMs. So despite the fact they have different IP address, the front end IP is our main go-to for us to access it. So what we need to do is to go back to this Bastion environment. Then I'm going to search for something, free CSS templates, just to get free. Okay, I think my Internet Explorer is blocking, so let me just do some configuration. Yeah. So just give me some. So I'm going to just come to this manage. Where's the place? So manage the properties. Okay, local servers. Sorry. Okay. I just want to turn off this security check so I don't have limitation accessing the internet. Alright, so I'm just turning off this. Then I go back to my browser just to search for some templates. So there's a template I have, free CSS. I think microhistory-css.com. So this is gonna like give me some templates that I want to So there are many templates in this web page, so I can just choose the one I want. So since I want something free and I want something that looks more or less like an e-commerce platform, so I could just decide to go for maybe a coffee shop, something that kind of sell like coffee item or something. So let me see. Okay, I think we have this one here. So I can just click on this. Still giving me this sign download. So I'm going to download this. Okay, save. Alright, it's scanning. Done. Alright, so this is the template I just downloaded. Then I'm going to extract all. Extract all. So this is it, and all these are the files that we have. So I'm just going to copy all this one by Ctrl A, then come to this side and say copy. Alright, I've copied this. So the next thing is to go to your local C, identify the inet pub, go to www-roots. Now these two files are what is making it show this particular blue environment, right? So let's go back to our Bastion. I'm just going to populate these files. I'm going to delete them. Sorry, I'm going to just delete these ones. When I delete them, I'm going to paste all those ones I just copied from that template into this place, provided that it has the exe file. So you must ensure it has the exe file. So let me go to where I have these files. These are the files here. So I'm going to copy, then minimize, go to the inetpub www-roots, then click on paste. So the moment I paste it here, it's going to look for the index.html file, then read it with the IP address. So automatically we have automatically created the web page. So let's see. When we go to this browser, let's say from our local, so from our local host here, we give kind of refresh. You notice that it shows the websites that we have already pasted, right? So this is just the simple thing I did when we were doing that previous session for website, but it's not going to show much here because I'm using local and the environment is not large enough. So let's just refresh this one. All right, so this is also showing the web page. Like, okay, we've just built the website and we deploy it on our VMSS, and we are currently accessing this website with funded IP. So let's say this is a Black Friday and we have so many people trying to buy hot cappuccino, or we have so many people trying to buy this Americano. In fact, just people are trying to just buy our coffee. Maybe you have your friends in Sweden and you're trying to have like a fika session where you interact with friends. But now they're trying to buy so many of this coffee. So now what happens in the back end is this. So let's go to the instance. Let me show you what happens here. You notice that we have two instances, right? Now, this instance can actually scale up and they can actually scale out and scale in. So let's see how this works. So if you come to this, for example, now I want to show us something. The number of counts you have is 2 because by default you have 2 number of counts. So what about you want to increase the number, like say you want to make it 3 or 20. Okay, look at this, it's showing the number. So I could just shoot 4, then I come to save. This is just manual scaling. So let's go to scaling and confirm what happens now. So this one is, you already know that it's Black Friday and you want your scaling to increase by 4, but this is just manually. So let's check what is happening. He is going to automatically start creating the instances by itself with interval of, let's say, 5 minutes, depending on your what you've given it. Okay, so you see he's currently creating the instances, right? And it has like a cooling period whereby, okay, I'm going to create 2 instances, right? And I'm going to then cool down, right? But then this is a manual scaling, so I would like us to use the other scaling, which is going to be the automatic scaling. So you can actually use this manual scaling to scale out your instance. So let me go back to 2, then let me show you something else. So I'm going to just go back to 2, then come to custom scale. Okay, let me go back to 2, save. I want those other scaling should go out. So let me go back to instance to confirm that they're deleting. So I'm going to refresh because it ought to be deleting, right? It's okay, it's already running. So it's actually going to take some time now to delete. So like some minutes, I'm going to just fast forward this side because I know you may not really see. It's currently 2. Okay, all the 4s are running at the moment, right? But let's hold on. Because of the fact that I changed my scaling option to 2, but I told you earlier that this is done manually, right? So it's currently 2 now. So let's confirm. I think you should be going to deleting states now because I already asked you to delete all those instances. So let's confirm. I'm going to refresh. Okay. So I don't want it to scale those 2 items. Just hold on. Okay, now you notice that it's actually taking one out. So I'm going to refresh one more time just for me to have this other instance deleted. So it kind of have like a cooling time of like say 2 minutes or 5 minutes depending on what you give it on your manual scale. But I want just to have 2 instances so I can show us what happens when we actually have automatic scaling. So all right, thank you very much for this. This was actually what I wanted. I wanted just these 2 instances should be up and running. Now what I'm going to show us is, if you don't want to scale manually, you can actually go to your custom scale and decide how you want to scale. Probably you want to scale by metrics. You could then say, I want this to scale when my CPU is let's say 80%. Let the new instance come out from it, then it's going to then balance the activity going on in that particular machine. So if you want to do this, you need to click on scale. Look at this, scale to specific instance count. But yeah, you need to click on scale on metrics. So when you go to metrics, you need to create a policy saying that your instance should start from minimum of 2 and your maximum of, let's say, 5. So I'm going to make 5 as my maximum, right? Then I'm going to add a rule. So let's say I have a website and I know that Black Friday is close by and I want to scale out. So you just come to the scale add rule and you say I want to scale out based on percentage in CPUs. So if you have many customers trying to buy your product and the traffic is kind of much, based on like 85% is going to increase the instance by, let's say, 1. Like you can say increase the count by 1, then it's going to cool down for like 5 minutes. Then if it's also by 5% again, 85% or 70%, it's still going to increase again by 1 till it gets to 5 counts. But I can't really predict how the percentage will go to 70% because no one is actually buying my coffee, right? So I'm going to just increase by number of network. So just for us to just see how this work, there is a particular instance they call number of network. I think it's always here. Okay, I think I saw network right now. Okay, network in total. Okay, so network in total is fine. I'm using network in total. So threshold triggers 70, duration 1, cooling 5 minutes. All right, so if I click on add, now I don't need to do any other thing. So let's say I come to my instance. I think I can just click on save. All right, so when this is done saving and I'm already ready that okay, by Black Friday so many people are going to buy these items and I don't want to be scaling all by myself. I want it to be happening just automatically by itself. So let's see what happens here. In the scaling, now you look at this, it's creating a new instance by itself, and once it's done creating this instance, it kind of check again that okay, I think some people are still buying this item. It's going to create another one again. So when it's done creating all those things to 5, it's going to stop. So that's the highest you're giving it. So you can actually give it to up to like 100, and it means that you're going to have all the same identical VM size on each of those particular virtual machine. So if the threshold has gotten to less than 70, because we actually use 70 as our threshold, yeah, let me just confirm that so you can also see that from your end. In our scaling policy, okay, we already have 3 counts coming up, so let's see what we have. Hold on. Okay, so we have 5 maximum and we scaling by number of network. So 3 increasing total number of network. Once it's greater than 70%, it increased by 1 count. So if it's less than 70%, it's going to start decreasing. So we can't really predict that one, but I just want to show us how scaling out work. So for scaling in, we may not be able to reduce the number of network, right? So let's just see if that instance of third one is created. So yeah, we have the running instance for the third one. So when you give it like set some cooldown time of like 5 minutes, you're still going to have another instance coming up at the end of the day. So this is actually what happens when Black Friday is actually at the corner and you want to have all your instances, all your web application working well without crashing despite the traffic coming into your website to buy items, right? So this is what really happens during Black Friday. So the instance get to scale out till it gets to the maximum of what you've given it to scale out up until. then if it actually doesn't really need to scale out, then all the instance get to delete automatically by itself. So it kind of even save your money because it kind of works based on your demand, right? When you actually need all these things to be working. So I don't want us to take our time to see how the next one start coming out, but I'll probably may fast forward that. So, but then this is actually the web page that we were able to deploy on our virtual machine skill set, which is accessed by the public IP, the front end IP actually. So this is more like an um, not an e-commerce actually, but then it's a retail store website that you could buy cappuccino. You could also buy several coffee and on a typical Black Friday. Yeah, so this is just simple walkthrough on how Black Friday really works. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you do, please leave your. You can actually subscribe. Drop your comment in the comment section down below, and yeah, also just smash the notification bell so you don't miss amazing content like this going forward. And I'm glad to share my knowledge on how this works, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now. Okay.